Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course I'm sitting down with a copy with most of us. Techy Joe, how are you, darling?
I'm doing well. How are you this evening?
Doing
Brenda?
well. Hello, Miss Brenda. How are you? Hope you're having good coffee. Stop being a pain in my ass, cat. Can you go somewhere? Thank you. No, she is not getting abused. She is just getting put on her bed because I've about had it with her. She claws me one more time. We might have to, have her declawed. She doesn't want that, and I don't want that. But anyhow, it's July.
It is. It's July now.
It's after Pride.
Yes.
Now it's time to see how many rainbow stickers stay on this corporate logo, shall we?
Well, one got ripped off before the month was even, before June was even over. So
a little bit premature ejaculate there. Okay.
A little bit. So Tractor Supply, and by the way, this is a MSN Money article. So Tractor Supply Company ends DEI efforts after social media backlash. So Tractor Supply, a rural lifestyle retail chain with locations across the country, including many in the Empire State, is altering its company initiatives after backlash from conservative consumers. According to a statement released last week, the company said the, quote, hard-earned dollars of consumers should go to communities we all love. Therefore, they will ensure activities and giving tie directly to the business through a series of changes. Many LGBTQ plus supporters replied on social media saying they'll take their business elsewhere. So here's what we know. Tractor Supply Company halts DEI efforts after backlash from conservative customers. So Tractor Supply announced 5 major changes to better represent the values of the communities and customers we serve in Thursday's release, including no longer submitting data to the Human Rights Campaign, refocusing team member engagement groups on mentoring, networking, and supporting the business, focusing on rural America priorities, including agricultural education, animal welfare, veteran causes, and being a good neighbor, and stop sponsoring non-business activities like pride festivals and voting campaigns, eliminating DEI roles and retiring current DEI goals while still ensuring a respectful environment, and withdrawing carbon emission goals and focusing on land and water conservation efforts. As reported by the Tennessean, the changes follow backlash from Robbie Starbuck, a former Hollywood director turned conservative activist, who shared a nearly 8-minute video on Twitter exposing the company's support for the LGBTQ plus community. So Robbie Starbuck posted to X about LGBTQ plus support from Tractor Supply with Kentucky reference. So Starbuck's nearly 8-minute post started by showing LGBTQ plus flags at a distribution center in Franklin, Kentucky. Quote, I take no pleasure in doing this. I am a Tennessean. I do not want to hurt a Tennessee company, but conservatives deserve to know that this is where their money's going, and it gets worse. There is more, he said in the video. So after backlash from conservative consumers, Tractor Supply is making these changes. I'm trying to jump us along. So in 2021, CEO Hal Lawton said he hoped to address multiple long-term DEI initiatives, including increasing employees of color at the management level and above by 50% by 2026, increasing funding for education for African American communities by 30% by 2026, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030. The company is now reprioritizing the future of rural America through support of veteran causes, emergency response, animal shelters, state fairs, rodeos, Future Farmers of America, and more. So, of course, we have the actual statement from Tractor Supply. Doesn't do it any disservices.
Right. So I dug a little bit deeper into it. And the CEO that done this, that began these initiatives, I don't even know where he was. Like, did he just like grab the rainbow dollar and run? And was making these quick changes to now he left the company. He went over to Tractor Supply 9 months ago. Not Tractor Supply, to Royal King 9 months ago.
Oh, and in the wake.
Yes, this is the new CEO to this company doing these movements.
Well, there you go.
So guess where we will not be shopping, and guess where we will be shopping. And here's why.
No, I'm.
Lowe's is nice, but they do not have much of what we need most times. Like,
Lowe's in our area is just kind of like it tries. It just like never works out.
Walmart.
It's like Walmart with lumber.
Right.
Basically. I mean,
okay.
Lumber and some cabinetry.
Right. So that leaves us going to hardware stores, where one of our local hardware stores is very nice. Love them. But again, they have limited supply. We were hitting Tractor Supply, especially like the garden. Like, that was the whole plan, was to go to Tractor Supply and buck up. Why? Because they were supporting our social, our view of where corporate who wants to take a tax write-off should be spending their tax write-off. We're okay. I'm kind of liking, and here's why. They don't give military discounts. They have a bucket they sell. They throw 50% of that at the charity, but it's only 50%. And they don't get involved in any damn thing. They literally say, we do not discriminate against any customer.
Yeah, Rural King, their policies are a little more like, they're starting from a point of like, we don't discriminate and we ain't getting in the middle of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're here, we make money, we're a business, we're not getting involved.
Right.
Which in some instances is I find appropriate, and
right.
I can accept that.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm cool. You're not going to back any major initiatives, but you're not going to back any major initiatives.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, you're not going to do anything really great,
right?
But you're also not going to do anything really bad either. Like, right. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, here we go. I will copy the statement for you to read, because I actually went to their CS and said, "Hey, where's your media package?" And they're like, "We don't have one."
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Alrighty. So, yeah, their statement is, Rural King works hard to bring all of our customers the lowest prices on all the items we sell every day. Therefore, we do not discriminate against any of our customers by offering a preferential discount to one group. We value all our customers, including active military and veterans, first responders, doctors, nurses, teachers, farmers, and their families. All our customers deserve the best prices and great service we strive to provide every day.
Yeah.
So
that's where we'll be spending our dollar. A lot more, actually, because they have even more than, little old Tractor Supply that's in the old Walmart building that couldn't even fill the whole Walmart building. But
that's a longer story, and that's, yeah. But no, I mean, the only downside, like Tractor Supplies, much like Family Dollar, Dollar General, and the like, have really started to like set in actual rural communities. So like our Tractor Supply is only 1.5 miles from the house.
Yeah.
Like it's very quick drive over there, and it is again part of the reason we were shopping there. It's very local.
Yeah.
Rural King, not so much. Like Rural King is attached a lot to large shopping malls.
Right.
So that is kind of a downside.
Right.
But again, worth it.
Very much so worth it. Very much so. Looking at where our dollars is spent, it's kind of like, when we took off for the 4th and your birthday, and we went to Stevens Lake, we planned a picnic.
Mm-hmm.
They had Bigot Burger there, and it's like, haven't ate it ever in my life. Ain't eating it again.
Yeah. No, some of the vendors, like they had multiple vendors, and most of the vendors were fine. They support a variety of events. But yeah, no, I've noticed Chick-fil-A like showing up for everything now.
Right.
Like,
I think that's because their business is so sucky.
I don't know that their business is sucking. I think they literally just firmly believe everyone wants Chick-fil-A.
Right.
That there is no opportunity where Chick-fil-A won't sell. And granted, we've seen that. Mm-hmm. Because what I'm not sure of is whether they were technically, and not this immediate past June, but the year before, I wasn't quite sure if there was just a Chick-fil-A near Beckley Pride, or someone was going to Chick-fil-A and like running orders, or if Chick-fil-A was actually on site for the event.
I think they were nearby.
Because I was a little disappointed in that a year ago. When at a very large LGBTQ event, I started watching vendor after vendor after vendor walking back into the event, mm-hmm. With Chick-fil-A bags.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there like,
not shopping at your place.
So I'm pretty sure you're just a, vendor that shows up to any event.
Right.
Like that's how I read that. Like you don't really care about the event.
Right.
You may or may not make products specific to the event, but mm-hmm. you really don't care.
Right. And I think that may have even given me even more distaste for that event.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm all cool with straight allies and people who go to events that may not be invested in the cause. Right. Like you're a maker, you're a creator, you have things to sell. I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. Thank you for showing up to our events. We really appreciate that. Might be helpful mm-hmm. if like you could be aware just a little that some things at certain events are just don't do that.
Well, it's like if you're going, I don't know, doing a vegan event or a vegetarian event. I don't know. There are some vegetarian organizations, food to table, and you show up and your lunch is cooked steaks that you grill out on the grill. I don't think it would go over well.
Probably not. Or again, walking in with your Chick-fil-A bag. Not going to work out great. Not going to work out great. Just be respectful of the environment you're in. Like,
right.
I don't expect someone to know every single possible, company that the LGBTQ community has issues with. No. It is a long list, but there's some major ones. And I don't care if you leave the event and that's the first place you go. Like I will ignore that. That's fine. That's your choice. Don't walk into my event with the Bigot Burger.
Exactly.
Like, just don't. That's rude.
Right.
Like, there are some things I think we could all agree that we just don't do.
Right.
And that could be one.
Right.
Oh, but no, the Tractor Supply thing, I was very infuriated. I actually contacted customer service. Which, by the way, at this point, I should technically have an email back.
And did you?
I do believe it is been 2 business days.
Right.
So I'm curious what if anything they have managed to say. Oh, and nothing is what they've managed to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love it when they are.
Now, I will take into account the fact that, they have been inundated recently on both sides now. Like, they were being inundated by customers after the video came out that alerted conservatives that there was support for LGBTQ plus causes.
Right.
Then they released the statement, and yeah, it swung me.
Mm-hmm. That's insane. All right, so let's rock on through. There's a new documentary out.
So gay influencer Chris Stanley's new doc explores West Virginia Pride Parade so small it's almost a secret. So a new 22-minute film premiered on Friday, highlighting the courage of LGBTQ plus people in a small West Virginia town. In an evocative and deeply personal documentary, social media influencer Chris Stanley, 24, ventures into Morgantown, population 30,000, to capture one of the smaller Pride celebrations in America. The film, now available on YouTube, is a masterful blend of heartwarming resilience and heartbreaking challenges faced by the LGBTQ plus community in a conservative town. Imagine a Pride celebration so small it's almost a secret, Stanley muses in the opening scene, setting the tone for an exploration of Morgantown's intimate yet meaningful Pride Parade. Conducted in mid-June, Stanley's journey was driven by a desire to illuminate the often overlooked experiences of LGBTQ plus people in small-town America. The project's inception was almost serendipitous. Stanley shared a call on social media seeking the smallest Pride event in the country. I thought that maybe I can try making a documentary, he recounted in an interview with The Advocate. I've had this idea for a while and wanted to go to the smallest Pride in the country. After receiving numerous suggestions, he chose Morgantown and completed filming the project in a single day. The documentary's strength lies in its intimate interviews with residents. Dustin Blankenship from nearby Granville provides a candid look at the region's conservative nature. Everyone in West Virginia has a gay neighbor, but not everyone in West Virginia wants to talk about the fact that they have a gay neighbor, Blankenship remarks. Another key figure in the film, Ash Orr, offers a nuanced view of Morgantown's inclusivity. The city itself is very inclusive of the queer and trans community. We have a lot of ordinances in place, such as the non-discrimination ordinance, Orr explains. However, Orr's account of undergoing conversion therapy reveals the persistent undercurrent of intolerance. Conversion therapy is still a very cruel practice that is happening in the state of West Virginia, as well as other states throughout the country, Orr shares. So the Pride Parade, modest with just 12 cars, is depicted with admiration and melancholy. Stanley's narration underscores the small but significant nature of the event. This is pretty much the entire Pride Parade here, right down to the end of the block there. Stanley's transition from lighthearted content to more serious projects marks a significant evolution in his career. Known for his humorous and sometimes risque videos on social media, Stanley often documents his travels with his boyfriend, Brett LaBelle, who is 27 years his senior. Their relationship, which began during the pandemic, has been a subject of public subject of public fascination and scrutiny. So yeah. All right, so that's basically where that ends. Everything else is just kind of about him and his relationship.
Right. But let's talk
then we
about
get the video.
Did he actually capture small pride? I would have loved to see him come down to Greenbrier Pride. But Greenbrier is covering a very large mega area. Morgantown is a smaller pride, but here's the facts. Here's the hard facts. We didn't get pride dates until May.
Pretty much.
May. Like, get it together.
And this has been a recurring thing. Like, I don't, like, before the pandemic, it seemed like we knew all this stuff at least a month or more in advance. Like 2-3 months.
Right.
The pandemic happened, and since then, I don't think there's a single event in West Virginia that actually gets pushed until, like, a few days before.
Right.
And it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice to go do. Where were we? We had come from our shop. Bigfoot Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me? Bigfoot Festival? Yeah. And I got pumped at the pilot as we stopped to get coffee. Are you going to the Bigfoot Festival, Aeson? What?
And then you kind of looked at me and said, do you want to go to the Bigfoot Festival? And I was like, we're not going to a Bigfoot Festival. Yeah. Not because I don't think it would be fun, but you had just had injections in your hips. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, no.
You know, and what I find interesting is his thumbnail. He uses the incident in Huntington. That is not the end that did not correlate with Morgantown.
No. Yeah, Huntington's had its own issues, but I think it also speaks to just the environment in which the pride is basically occurring. Is that it's not that far away, it's not that different of an area. Like, yeah, it wouldn't take much.
Right.
Is the sad reality. For, you know, it's just, it's sad.
All right. So we have seen some reversals. The question was the reversals in time?
Oh, pardon?
Park Service. Here you go.
So the National Park Service reverses pride ban for employees in uniform after backlash from LGBTQ plus community. Oh, Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland reversed on Friday a National Park Service directive that would have barred employees from participating in LGBTQ plus Pride Month events while in uniform. The initial policy, issued on May 17th, led to widespread backlash from the LGBTQ plus community. The memo, first obtained by Politico Pro, had stated that requests from employees asking to participate in uniform in a variety of events and activities, including events not organized by the NPS, conflicted with the agency's policy. This move marked a considerable shift from the agency's history of supporting LGBTQ plus visibility. In response, Haaland sent an email to all NPS employees on Friday afternoon, reversing the directive. NPS operates under the Interior Department. I want to ensure that every employee has the opportunity to thrive in a safe, inclusive, and respectful environment, Haaland wrote in the message, which the advocate obtained. Haaland's email emphasized the importance of special emphasis months, which include observances for LGBTQ plus pride. One way in which we support and celebrate who we are at the department is through programs organized around special emphasis months, which have been identified by presidential proclamation, executive orders, and public law to ensure that federal agencies take affirmative steps to provide equal opportunity in all areas of employment, she wrote. In addition to events and activities organized by the department and or individual bureaus and offices, sometimes there are externally organized events and activities that further the same goals as those in the special emphasis months. Special emphasis programs of the Department of the Interior include observances for American Indians and Alaska Natives, Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, Black Employment, Federal Women's Program, Hispanic Employment, individuals with disabilities and disabled veterans, Juneteenth, LGBTQ plus Pride, and Women's Equality Day. Howland directed bureau leaders to determine how and when to participate in these events. This could include marching units in parades, booths at parades, events, etc., she wrote. This would allow employees to participate in uniform, representing their respective bureau. Howland added, this direction takes effect immediately. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, especially when, like, we're renting your booths, we're renting your facilities, we're paying high dollars for your facilities.
Oh, yeah. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to rent out a park, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's about
even just some of the. Well, yeah, and depending upon what all you need.
Right.
Like shelters are bad enough. Like if you just got to rent a shelter, sometimes that, depending upon the park, can be expensive. And sometimes it's not even the expense as much as the process.
Right.
So yeah, it can be very competitive.
So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what everything's going on as the confetti settles. All right. Do we have anything else? We do not. That's good. That's good. All right. So where's your asshole?
I can't find it with both hands.
That's been our week.
Pretty much. I'm waiting for Brenda to just die over here. Like that was
Give her coffee quickly so she doesn't cover things.
It is on the way.
All right.
Her head was in the fridge. She started cracking up.
Here you go. Here's a nice long one for you.
Oh, okay. Cool deal. Cool deal. All right. Oh. Am I the asshole for leaving the family function 10 minutes later than I said we would? Background. My husband and I have a 1-year-old who we adore, but ever since having him, my husband has become a lot more uptight when it comes to my family. We bought a house back in February that we completely have renovated, and my family asked to help. They are very handy, and we wouldn't have been able to be living in the house if it wasn't for them. They have so much knowledge with construction. However, this caused a rift between my husband and my family because my family was involved in the process and my husband felt as if they were taking the experience of renovating away from him. For the 4th of July, my husband and I planned to spend the morning with my family and the afternoon with my in-laws. This meant, however, that we would be missing a pool party that my extended family was going to be having in the early afternoon. My immediate family was all attending but us. Around 12 o'clock, my husband unexpectedly asked me if I would like to go to the pool party, and I said I would love to. That meant that we would be traveling to his family's house, which is 30 minutes north, immediately after the pool party. We got in the car with our child, and I was so excited, and we started heading to the pool party. On our way there, my husband told me he only wanted to stay 30 minutes at the pool party. This honestly made me feel a little bit sad and frustrated because I feel like that's not very long to stay at a pool party. And he told me that he didn't want us to let the baby even put his feet in the pool. I told him I would like to compromise, and we ended up deciding that 40 minutes was fair to stay. We get to the pool party, and as you can imagine, time goes by really quickly. Soon my husband was telling me that it was time to leave. I got our things, got our child ready, and headed out to our car. What I didn't know is that my grandparents were really excited to come see a new car that we had purchased the day before and spent about 5 to 6 minutes looking at the car with us. By the time that my grandparents were looking at the car, as well as me gathering the baby and all of our supplies up, it was about 10 minutes past the time to leave. We get in the car, and my husband proceeds to tell me that the rest of the day is going to be a lot better now after leaving, and that he was really frustrated about how I did not prioritize his feelings or emotions by being 10 minutes late to leave. I recognize that being 10 minutes late is a little bit of a nuisance, but I have grace with him all the time. After all, marriage is a lot of give and take. 10 minutes is not something in my mind that is worth fighting and telling me that I am not loyal to him. Things have been so tense with my family, and I feel like taking out the emotions that he has towards my parents and family on me. He told me that I am loyal to my family, that I am, because we were 10 minutes late. Am I the a-hole here? Edit.
No.
My husband. Okay.
Oh, good for it.
Oh, my husband and I have solely been doing our renovations for the past 2.5 months. I don't steamroll his ideas, and we have not had my parents involved with anything house related lately. The reason they, primarily my father, was heavily involved is because he was a general contractor. He selflessly helped do tons of the grunt work on our house, and at the same time was teaching my husband and I how to do a lot of our reno ourselves. Dude, get the fuck over it. You're not the asshole, OP. Like, what the fuck is wrong with your husband? Like, seriously, what the fuck?
All right, let me get the poll up on this one.
I don't have anything to really, like, this is a lot of tedium to say that my husband's being an asshole because we were 10 minutes late leaving an event because he's still in a mood, because my family helped out with our house and he had dreams of being fucking Bob Vila that were taken away from him while my father taught him how to do it.
Right.
It doesn't get better.
No, it doesn't. And actually, let me end, before you vote, let me end this poll.
Okay.
I have a new option I want to add here. I don't get 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You're driving an additional 30. Why even go to a pool party if you can't even get in the water? What's the point of the pool party?
Well, and it was basically like, I'm going to give you the thing, but I'm going to make it uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm going to give you the thing, but we're not going to actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, he's being a dick. Period.
Yeah.
End of discussion. More importantly, like, seriously, 4th of July, you're trying to run around to everyone's house on the 4th of July.
Right.
Pick one party.
Right.
And y'all can split up. Take one kid apiece. I mean, what the hell?
Right. Well, I take out
there's
everyone
only
shitty here.
Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. This is just for this poll. I want to see where it goes at. So I had an option there, but no, like, dude, like, I schedule form, do this, pack this shit in. But 10 fucking minutes, dude, you didn't even give her a chance.
Like, one, I mean, I understand. Believe me, I understand. Leaving late for things it is kind of a personal annoyance of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I can usually make up 10 minutes or be like, close enough. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, 3 hours is about the point I'll look at you and be like, are we even going?
Work.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we even going at this point? But again, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Like, I think you can at least give your spouse the same amount of grace you would give an HR person interviewing you for a job position, which is usually 15 minutes.
Right.
So, if it were extreme,
right.
Like if her definition of 10 minutes is like an hour and a half later, okay, then I understand why he's being this pissy.
Right. But, even me, like, at certain events, if we're set to leave by 2, I start the share tour by, 1:30.
Yeah, like you take the share tour, like I start loading car.
Right.
This is the goodbye tour that never ends.
Well, a lot of things that we do that the share tour is required for is because this is West Virginia. And you don't just go goodbye and walk out. That doesn't work. You get rude. That's rude.
I mean, I'm typically the one driving and doing the bye on our way out. Like, you've made the proper goodbye. I'm the one that threw the rest of the stuff in the car and okay, get in. We're leaving.
Right. But still, if I can only be somewhere, be at a location for 40 minutes, I'd look at you and laugh.
I was going to say you can hardly do that at Walmart.
I can't even do that at Walmart. On a normal... No. On a normal afternoon to Walmart.
Oh, God.
On a payday afternoon at Walmart, when all the women are running around with their envelopes of their new household funds, that ain't happening.
At 2:00 in the morning, you can't do that.
Actually, used to at 2:00 in the morning.
No, you couldn't. We were always there till basically there was sun. We'd leave, we'd get there at 2, we would exit the building, and we would hear birds chirping and the smallest rays of sunlight.
Right.
Like we had survived Night of the Living Dead. But which wasn't too far off of it. It's West Virginia at 2:00 in the morning at a Walmart. It's not far off.
Right.
Just saying. But no, I mean, no, you go to Walmart and I'm just I hear the Gilligan theme. 3-hour tour. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just saying. But no, goodbyes take a minute. 10 minutes is not that much.
Right. And you just bought a new car and you're mad because the grandparents wanted to see your accomplishment.
More importantly, let's go over this, okay? I'm starting to have believability issues. So you were 2, I'm going to assume mid-20s to mid-30s, adults with a 1-year-old, a new car, and a house that arguably needs a lot of updates.
Right.
But still, y'all come bitch about 10 minutes. Really? You don't have anything else?
Yeah, that's what he's bitching about.
I mean, I just keep waiting for is there something else? What else is going on? Is there something else? Why aren't you telling us? Oh, found it.
Okay.
right, so there's a reply because there was more info. Why is there a rift between him and your family? So from OP, he comes from a really emotionally manipulative family. And I get that all families have their issues, but he originally loved being around my family. We are really close and always enjoy being together. My husband feels like we're too close. He felt left out when we began home renovations because he often would have the odd opinion when me and my parents would be spitballing ideas of what things could be changed or built in the house. There was a boiling over point where my husband and I got into a huge fight while my dad was over helping us install a new toilet in our bathroom. This was the catalyst for a ton of marital issues in the past 2 months, and I feel like we are shells of who we once were. Since this, anything that isn't his expectation or his way with regards to my family results in him having a very short fuse. He has completely changed from loving being around them to wanting to only have our own family, meaning him, me, and our 1-year-old son. Okay. So literally this is in the shitter, no pun intended, because literally this all started over a fucking toilet. Dude, get some therapy. Get some therapy. Like, you are taking out your issues with your manipulative family on her close-knit family.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that probably has to do with you don't know how to be part of a non-backstabbing, manipulative, coercive, controlling family. And you got into one situation where you were the odd man out, and you just defaulted back to your shitty upbringing. Here's why I say please go get therapy, is because you have a 1-year-old, and the shit you're doing now is going to be things that your 1-year-old learns. These aren't good things. You're going to repeat this pattern. You're going to revisit it on your own child. I'll guarantee it. If you do not fix this problem with your spouse and prevent it from like becoming the marriage, you'll just be a repeat of your own parents. You'll raise another generation that doesn't know how to actually function as a family unit and instead just attacks each other. Yeah.
All right, so we got a new segment.
All right. So, ask gay bros over 30. Boyfriend is a bodybuilder, and I found he has an Amazon wish list with items worth more than $10,000, for which he asked random people online to buy him. Is this common among bodybuilders? Bodybuilder. My boyfriend is a professional bodybuilder, and he is not earning a lot. However, he seems to live a quite luxurious lifestyle. Red flag. Like, hold on. Red flag. Okay. I recently found out he has an Amazon wish list for which he asked people online to sponsor him. It's not just about bodybuilding equipments or supplements. It includes Amazon gift cards, good dresses, even PS5, TV, and all other kinds of items. He also is openly asking people to fund his tickets for traveling and vacation. I don't know if this is a common thing in the bodybuilding community, who are really willing to sponsor strangers and what will be involved in return. My boyfriend is in his mid-40s. You go, boy. And to be honest, I don't mind how much he earns, but this sponsorship kind of business makes me feel sketchy and, to be honest, very uncomfortable. He doesn't seem to want to talk about his financial status. It's also too early for me to ask him about this. I think bodybuilder and the words beefcake are probably real synonymous for your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this like, no, I don't think random bodybuilders just have wish lists.
Right. But what's your thoughts on public wish lists in general?
I'm all about them. I say put it out there. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't. Like,
right.
I mean, it was weird. I will say it's not like I've really done it. I don't think I'm involved in it. No. Like we have a shared one, but that's for us. Like I had one weird experience in college, and it was more accident than anything ever intentional. Mm-hmm. And it was literally, I randomly was talking about online the fact that I had loaned out a copy of a book and never got it back. And I had no expectation I was ever going to get it back. And I don't know how someone managed it.
Right.
I have no idea. It was the freakiest damn thing. It was like a month later, I opened my mailbox and there's one of those, like, you have a package slips.
Right.
Because college mailbox, like, postal mailbox size. Right. Actually, it was a little smaller. It was teeny tiny. So anyway, the little card in there. So I'm like, I wasn't expecting anything. Yeah. Like, I'm too poor for packages. Because it was true. I was in college. I was too poor for packages. Okay. So I go over, I have a package. And I get handed this package, and it's, of course, an Amazon package. And I just, like, opened it, and I'm looking at it, having this whole moment of, like, it's the book. And I got really confused. Thankfully, there was a note, but they didn't sign it. I just knew enough to know how they found out.
Right.
I was like, I mean, granted, I was really grateful. I was really excited by it. Like, oh my God. But it was the weirdest idea that I could just talk about something like that. And it showed up. Like, I really? Like, I fell all over myself. I was really? Like, yeah, someone got me a book. Like, I don't know. Like, before it was really a thing, it was kind of like, Joe has a book. Joe's a free health. Like, what the hell?
Right. And we've gotten, I've gotten gifts from customers, and, I always say, please let me know you're sending me something. I don't care. You don't have to tell me it. You can just tell me there's a package coming from you.
Oh, yeah. And then there was the whole, like, Brenda cheesecake thing, which that was funny. We've told that story.
We've told that story. But, like, Lady Gwendolyn, she ordered us mugs. They're lovely mugs. God. They're wonderful for tea.
They were wonderful mugs. The experience of getting the mugs.
Yeah. You saw Aeson freak the fuck out. Because it's like, we didn't order anything. I'm not expecting any packages from any sponsored companies. What is this?
He freaked the fuck out. Because, well, and there were a few different aspects to that. Like, it was also from a company that we hadn't ordered from before.
Right.
So the only return address was the company.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we're sitting here like, well, I was sitting here like, what do we do? And you were like, I think like a hair trigger away from like calling 911 and asking for the bomb squad. And I'm like,
trigger away of taking it outside and shooting it.
You left it on the porch.
I know.
Like, you wouldn't bring it inside.
No, it got opened on the porch. But I don't know. Is it weird for people to have wish lists nowadays that strangers buy them things online? I think it depends on what you're doing. If he's a bodybuilder and these sponsors, I would agree with Brenda. He either has an OnlyFans or a Twitter fan or a friends only or whatever. He's making some kush.
I'm thinking even just an Instagram.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a market that exists for bodybuilders just to take photos.
Yeah.
They don't have to undress. It doesn't have to be lurid. They don't have to, like, speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not talking
Really
to these people and having not safe for work conversations.
Right.
Their literal existence in a photo.
Right. But here's the thing. And then we're going to have to take a break. You deal with a public boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been places and people recognize me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's used to that.
Oh, OP or me?
OP.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's fun on a different level. Yeah, like I don't have a problem with that one. The biggest problem I have with it is when you are like locked in, laser focus on why we're there. And you know, all the times you've been like, well, I may get recognized in public, so I have to remember to, like, you know, turn the on.
But no, when you first started, when we first started dating, and well, and this happened at when we went to the third, you know, grandnephew has a new girlfriend, cute, lovely girl. But I said, please don't post any pictures of me until we leave the event.
Right. And it's a weird conversation to have.
It is.
And I think for some people, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like,
let's not.
There are too many moving parts here to even go into all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just stick with this is about his safety.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find it way easier to just explain which is true.
Mm-hmm.
That like there's an ex situation that wasn't a good breakup.
Right.
It's really not a good idea unless you want your day to end badly.
Mm-hmm.
To post his location.
Right.
And I think for most people that's easier to like wrap their heads around.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
When you start getting into the wider range of like, well, we could be dealing with someone on a stalker level. We could be dealing with someone on I told their girlfriend to break up with them because they were cheating, or I told their girlfriend they were cheating, so they broke up with me. Like, right. You don't even know who this person's going to be, or it could just be a fan.
Yeah.
And it's going to influence it, right? But it's going to influence the day. And it's like, is this like this isn't an event in terms of like this is not an Aeson night event.
Right.
This is a family outing. We are going and doing the family thing. And while like our baristas would totally get it and be like, yo, and keep moving.
Right.
Some people, it might be the only time we're anywhere near their area.
Right.
Like it's a one-off 1,000,000-to-1 shot that we are in. Wherever. And they may excitedly, without thinking, just like, we're going there. And it would be wonderful and great and everything else. And like, I'll deal. And that would be fine.
Right.
Like,
but I don't have waterproof
totally deal with that.
Point blank, I don't have waterproof terror.
No. But I have made him keep a set in the car. You
have. All right. So let's take a quick break. The poll is up with options. Feel free to vote there. And we'll be right back with poly advice. But the advice I have for this one is get over it. He told you he's a professional bodybuilder. That means he has social media. That means that, you know, there are going to be some people that send him stuff. He'd rather it be stuff he wants.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it. I'm great with it for anyone, but more to the point, I think if you can get, like, what's the harm in creating the list? You get stuff you want?
Right.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, welcome to the world of 2024.
Which is a weird world. We'll be right back.
Yes. All right.
Are you ready for an enchanting journey of self-discovery and empowerment? Dive into the mystical world of Wicca with our courses guided by Lord Aeson Knight. Unveil Wicca's secrets, explore fundamental principles, and delve into essential topics like deity relationships and the purpose of rituals. Aeson Knight, a third-degree high priest, shares his wisdom through life coaching lessons, guiding you towards a brighter future. Step into the inner circle of enlightenment. Enroll today to embark on a journey toward a more empowered you. Click the link to take your first step into the magical circle.
Ready to join the Psychic Coffee Shop Network? By becoming our patron, you'll unlock exclusive content from Aeson Knight, host of the Psychic Coffee Shop podcast and co-host of the Mountain Bears podcast, alongside the tech-savvy Techie Joe. Choose from subscription options ranging from Tall $1, Grande $5, to Venti $10 per month, supporting us in covering production costs and beyond. Depending on your subscription level, enjoy discounts on private readings, free access to classes and special events, behind-the-scenes extras, and the chance to participate in station meetings. Plus, you'll get early access to new content and the opportunity to shape future topics. We'll acknowledge your support in the credits of our videos. Don't wait. Brew some magic and join us today as a valued member. Link in the show description. Aeson Knight, your gateway to a transformed life. In a world where anyone can claim to be a life coach, Aeson stands out as a true professional with the skills and qualifications to guide you on your journey to success. So why invest in a personal life coach? Let's explore the game-changing benefits Aeson brings to the table. Ever find it hard to stay committed to change on your own? Aeson's expertise ensures you stay on track. With him as your coach, that internal drive kicks in, motivating you to keep your promises and achieve your goals. Making a change is tough, but Aeson makes it 1,000 times easier. He's your unwavering support, guiding you through challenges, pushing you beyond your limits, and believing in you even when you doubt yourself. Friends are great, but they may not always want to see you succeed. Aeson, on the other hand, is dedicated solely to your success. He removes negativity and limiting beliefs, giving you the tailored support you need. Forget endless hours deciphering advice from books and videos. Aeson is your shortcut to effective change. He saves you time and money by offering personalized attention, guiding you toward the tools and lessons that will truly work for you. Ready for a better tomorrow? Book your discovery call with Aeson Knight now. Take the first step toward the life you've always dreamed of. Aeson Knight, your partner in transformation. Start your journey today.
All right. Welcome back.
Yes.
All right. So let's hop over and take on some poly advice.
All right. So what is reasonable for a secondary to ask for? Oh. So the edit is first. I'm leaving my original post below, but I think I botched the intention of my post and the title of the post doesn't help. My use of the term equity is probably not appropriate. We all have needs, and those needs can be met in many different ways. Moving freely together in public and meeting friends, family may meet the need of acknowledgement and feeling a sense of importance, but they are not the only ways to have that need fulfilled, and they may not be possible with all partners, which isn't a deal breaker so long as the need is being met some other way. I'm not asking for advice on any particular issue in my relationships, although I mentioned feeling like my relationships aren't equitable, which is really an oversimplification of the reality, which is that my relationships are different and the meeting of certain needs manifest in different ways for each. I've read, and I think, understand the theory and best practices of healthy polyamory, attachment theory, etc. I'm asking about everyone's lived experience in executing the theories. I don't know about y'all, but knowing what's the best thing to do and actually doing it can really be a challenge given feelings, realities, insecurities, limitations, etc. I'm asking not only because of choices I have made, but also to try to understand the complexities of my partner's decision making. So the original post is, I'd love to hear from both folks who are or have secondaries and non-hierarchical RA folks. What are your relationships like with your partner's secondary partners? What is reasonable for a secondary partner to ask for? What is reasonable for someone in non-hierarchical relationships to ask for? For example, I am polyamorous, and in all of my current relationships, I have an expectation that each relationship is robust, fulfilling, and standalone, and we can move freely together in public, travel together, meet my partner's important people, friends, coworkers, and family, if possible and desired by both of us, spend some holidays, significant days together as desired. How do you navigate things like meeting parents with your partners or holidays? For example, if you have two partners who have never met your parents and your folks come to town, how are you choosing which partner gets to meet them? And how do you manage this with the partner who doesn't get to meet the parents? Does equity play a role in how you practice polyamory? I practice equity and greatly value it in my relationships because I know that time relationship link cannot be overcome and can create some level of prioritization, and each relationship is distinct and special, and new partners may not share the same kinds of bonds as older relationships. I try to create something special with my newer partners to express their importance to me. But I don't think some of my other partners treat me equitably, and I wonder if it's something reasonable to ask for or expect in polyamory. Okay.
First of all, let's talk about this meeting family. They all get to meet the whole gang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of get what, or I think I get what OP is talking. And they're talking about when you have two relationships of like different length, different commitment level, different potentially hierarchical status, like assuming that for a second, how do you keep from getting into the situation where you kind of defer to one partner without necessarily meaning to defer to that partner? Like, how do you avoid that situation where, like, even if you're not a secondary partner, you end up feeling like a third wheel?
Right.
You know what I mean? I think is kind of what OP's getting at. Is, not creating the third wheel experience for anyone in the relationships.
Right.
I think inevitably some part of that is just going to happen. Like, to be fair and honest, like in an ideal world, it would never happen. Everyone would have this great, wonderful, like, equitable experience.
Right.
I think it's just gonna happen, and it can depend on like the nature of the relationship. Like, if you're talking about like a nesting partner and a non-nesting partner, someone that lives outside of the home that may live long distance, some of these things just aren't going to happen.
Right.
Or may happen sporadically.
Right.
Or randomly, or it may take years before there's like, well, I've met the parents, but you haven't met the parents.
So you get to go deal with it.
Up.
But, the way we've done it is everyone's got to meet the parents. Deal with Mom and I, deal with Mama Connie. There's no hiding. Like, we don't go, Mama Connie's coming in, you know, Joe, you got to pack her up and go stay with, you know, yeah.
Can I talk to her about that and see if we can if I can like make her uncomfortable enough? Because I would not mind a hotel stay.
No,
cool
not a hotel stay. We're going to ship you, you know, down to Withville.
You know, no. I get a hotel room with a jacuzzi. God damn it! I got evicted for a week. That's where I'd be at. Is like I earned a hot tub.
Uh-huh.
I think I can
Not
get her
in
to
this
work
weather.
with me on it. I think I can get her to work with me on it.
Oh, I think so. But it's interesting because all of them are just like, no, these are my kids. You know. And I think
although that gets awkward.
It does.
Like the one mother-in-law handles this well. The other mother-in-law scares the hell out of me because I feel like I need a shirt that says I'm from West Virginia, but not that part. When she goes to introduce us, it's like, that's my son and that's my son. And it's like, okay. This is going to get awkward at some future point.
Right.
And someone's going to have a lot of questions. So I really feel like I need a shirt that says I'm from West Virginia, but not that part.
Okay.
When she starts introducing me. So that at least maybe that sticks in their head. Like maybe there's something I don't understand. Right. But I do know that she's gotten multiple questions and had to explain some things.
Right.
Because sometimes that, like, those are my sons, happens after, like, they've already seen something else that would otherwise give them the impression that we're in a relationship.
Well, of course. But
and
what's
like,
really interesting is when the whole family goes over to deal with Mama Knight's place. Everyone's like, oh shit, she's in trouble. All of them are here. It's like, we're taking her to dinner. Calm down. Yeah, I know, right? Like I don't know. It does get funny. But yeah, it's usually. Yeah. Usually that's only about twice a year. Yeah. That it's like they'll load everyone in the car. We're going over. Yes. Like we're taking her. Yeah. How was coming out as poly to the different families? I don't know. I didn't have a problem. Like, I think by the time that I got Mama Knight to through my 20s, she was like, anything. Don't care, anything. Yeah, of course, dear. Pretty much, yeah. 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 Like, I think she's non-pulsed at this point. It's just like, exactly. Okay, whatever. Right. Like, you know, does it involve makeup and heels? Are you dancing on a pole? No? Okay, I'm good. Well, see, she didn't even have a problem with any of that. I think the problem she had the most... No, she didn't actually have a problem with it. It's just like, how much crap am I going to have to deal with? Like, do I have to carry shit? Is there a wardrobe change that has to be loaded into a vehicle? Yeah. Like, I swear to God, the woman did a cartwheel when you fucking got rid of Beltane in the forest. But asked about it every year. Like, are we doing this? And I'm like... But anyhow, no, where I think she had that cracking moment, I can remember it. I came in from North Carolina in the convertible with two boyfriends, and then another one flew in, and I think that every thought her idea, you know, because y'all guys have to remember, if you remember HBO's Queer as Folk, this is how I explained gay life to my mother. About the polls, Mama Knight is now Mama Knight now is just with your back. Yes, that's fair. Yes. I mean, that's fair. Right. So, we have to remember that Mom and I got raised with the queerest folk.
Yeah.
The original queerest folk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So everything else was off the table. Like after that, after I shattered her with that trip from North Carolina, she was just like, okay. So how many beds do we need? 2? Great.
There we go. Of course, Invisible is not on with us, so I guess maybe you're better to speak about that one because from what I've heard, it went well.
It went fine. Like she was our surprise.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last trip she came down? Yeah, it was either the last trip or the trip before that she came down.
Mm-hmm.
No, we went up for dinner and then she came down.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and him went up for a family event thing.
Funeral.
And you didn't go funeral. In between this mix. And I got my shit jumped.
Yes, that was wild.
Yeah.
But I really couldn't. I think that was not to gross everyone out, but there was an abscess situation.
Right.
And I think that was right after we had medical attention for an abscess situation. And without saying too much, there was no way I was going to be able to ride in a car that long.
Right.
Just it wasn't going to happen. And once I got there, I was going to be useless.
Right.
I think that was when it was. Otherwise, I was sick.
No,
I know one way or another.
Was.
Yeah, I know one way or the other, whatever it was, there was no way I was going to be able to be in a car for that long and be useful when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
And not just look like, please, make it a double.
Right. But no, that's when we knew, okay, she's cool with this. She gets it. She's good.
Mm-hmm.
But she's shoving my shit. Where's Chef? Why didn't you bring him? You need to bring my adoptive son. Where's my adopted son? And I'm like, he's at home. He can't do the car ride. Okay. But no, so she does wonderful. Joe's family's great.
Well, I mean, there was that minor experience where, Dad broke us up.
Well, the afterlife family's a problem at times. So I've already told that jackass I have things to say to him on the other side when I get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a whole monologue batched up, ready to go any moment. No, it's gone well.
Mm-hmm.
I think at most, the worst it's, so to speak, the worst it's been is kind of that confused moment of oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad, though, we did find that it's easier for me or Invisible to explain it than you.
Yes.
I have found it is the easiest sentence in the world for people to quickly wrap their mind around if Invisible or I says, my boyfriend has a boyfriend.
Right.
We live together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it all works like click, click, click. We know all the things. You try to explain it, and people just look at you like you cheating son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No, the immediate response is the glaring look of you cheating son of a bitch. I know you're lying to me. There is no way anyone's cool with this.
Right.
I give you points for the brass cojones it took to say that, but you're a lying piece of crap. Right. And that's the reaction every time. Every time he says, I have 2 boyfriends, I have 3 boyfriends, I have 4 boyfriends, I don't know how many at this point. I have lost track of the polycule. It is worse than fucking Dollar General stores at this point.
It is not.
pretty sure that some of the boyfriends have new boyfriends growing off of them.
Possibility.
I'm just saying it, like, I've lost track. We
Right.
don't know how many. Or I don't.
All right.
Aeson is just, what number are you?
No. Current viewpoint is Aeson's in 3 long-term relationships and dating a perspective with occasional dating activity.
Yes. I'm store 637. That's what I'm going with. I'm 637.
That's fine. But, these are things. These are just normal things for us. And as we treat them normal, everyone else adjusts normal to them.
Yeah. Sometimes the biggest thing is not acting apologetic about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't start the conversation like it's a negative that you feel like other people should have a problem with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I've noticed, though, that when people do approach it that way, like I've had that come up, but I will say this was way back. So take it with a grain of salt. Most of the people who were like, well, we have a third, or, my boyfriend has a boyfriend. You know what I mean? That said it like that. There was an explosion of those relationships.
Yeah, but
so sometimes I think it's how you approach it. One reflects what you actually think, even if you're supposedly good with it. But it also influences what other people think,
right,
and how they interact with it. So yeah, that's kind of my biggest, like, if I could tell anyone one thing about their non-monogamous relationship, whatever form it takes, embrace it and talk about it like it is the most normal thing about you.
Right.
Because if you can do that, you will head off a lot of the bullshit way before it starts.
Right.
Or so saith store number 637.
Well, and I think, and that's always been my experience.
So yeah. But no, I think we pretty much covered that one.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's really good. All right, so let's go check out our poll.
Yes.
They chose the new option. 100% chose the new option. So it's not that you are not the asshole. Your husband needs to grow a pair.
Okay. This am I the asshole is really growing.
It is.
In directions I'm not sure I'm comfortable with. But I will reference back to Brenda's comment. Freaking passive aggressive control freak.
Yes.
Yes, that sums it up beautifully.
Yes. All right.
And I will say, this is a valid point. If he wanted out earlier, why did he not help with packing up the kids and stuff, or do it himself while she said goodbyes?
Right.
Like, move the situation along. Let her handle the talking to grandma and grandpa.
Right.
You can hook up a car seat. I promise you can hook up a car seat.
And you're not that non-enabled.
Yeah. Like, but if you're going to take all your time to run a stopwatch to know exactly how long you were stuck there than you intended to be.
And if he keeps this up, I'd leave him at home.
Okay. Brenda does say, just don't mess with the dill pickle option, please.
Nope, we're leaving the dill pickle. We love the dill pickle. Like, everyone is shitty. We've never had in the time we've had like one, but that's been a while. So that's the option
no,
that
it
I'm
hasn't even been a while. That was like last episode or last week one that everyone is shitty here. That was the actual final vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I was thinking that it was, you're not the asshole, but you're in a dill pickle.
No, I think we had an everyone shitty here.
Okay.
No, dill pickle was last night. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we recently had our first everyone shitty here.
Yeah. All right, guys. We hope you've enjoyed the night's show. We will be back on Sunday at 5 p.m. where you'll be seeing me set up next week. We're going to review how many stickers Aeson gets, and are we building towards our goal of 80% of everything he needs to get done in a day? We'll have to see and find out.
All right.
So with that, we hope you have a good night, and we want to take time to thank our sponsors.
We do. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcsbnetwork.com.
Yes. All right, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.